everybody, welcome back to another weekly market review for F45 Trading. This week, we are discussing February 22nd to the 26th. It's already the last week of February, if you can believe it. We're already almost 2 months down into this year, which is pretty incredible. So, looking at the charts this week, there's a lot of news out there this week, so I'm not going to go through that to keep this very, very short. Make sure you pull up your economic calendar, go to forexfactory.com, look at all the medium and high impact news events throughout the week, and you definitely want to note those on your calendar to make sure that you're not going to see any surprises if you jump into any trades this week. So, most notably, obviously, the US dollar. We're going to start out with this, and so far we're still in this consolidated range here. Price made a low here and a high here, and so far we're just sort of caught. If you drag this line out and extend that out and this red line here, we're just banking around in there. Now, I'm looking personally, I believe we're going to see a lower US dollar. You know, again, a lot of economic factors are, I think, weighing on the buying power of the US dollar currently, and there's just too many things going against it, namely all the money that they're printing into existence, which is, I believe, as of last week, was now approved for another $3 trillion injection into the economy. So again, you know, all that stuff, it reduces the buying power. The more dollars you have in circulation reduces the amount of buying power that it has. So ultimately, I think we're going to see lower prices US dollar going forward. Is it going to happen tomorrow? Probably not. What I'd actually like to see happen is for price to shoot up into the 90.50s, mid 90.50s. It could even run a little bit higher, maybe up into 90.60, 90.70. But ultimately, I'd like to see this swing high here that we put in last week as a short-term high that doesn't want to, wants to basically stay in place. So we had a run down here, a shot higher, a nice run up into this area here that I mentioned several times. And then it sold off quite quickly from hitting that. And same thing happened here after price ran back into this consolidation rate here and then sold off very quickly the last 2 days of last week. So I think we're probably going to see Monday start out and maybe into Tuesday start out price running higher into here. And then ultimately I'd like to see this roll over and continue lower and get underneath this level in here, which I've been calling for, you know, a very long time now. 89.90s to 89.80s. I think it could easily stretch down into there, and that's going to be the target on this week. So, what would be my line in the sand, just really quickly? If price wants to run up basically higher than this candle here, so I believe this was Thursday's trading. So if Thursday's trading, if price wants to go in any above the open price for last Thursday, I'm not interested in any shorts or any short-term lower prices on dollar. More than likely, they'll probably want to try to push up into this range in here. So just watch for that. But I think we're pretty much rolled over from here. And as long as we don't just sit here and bank sideways for the next foreseeable future, which I think this week, check out the speakers, because there's a lot of heavy hitters speaking this week. And I think this is the week where they're going to finally release it. So I'd like to see it run up into here and then sell off for till the end of the week. EurUsd, same type of idea. I think we're going to see price above here, and I thought I put a price chart on there. 21.90, more than likely 2200 is probably going to get hit this week. So I'll leave that up there. Nice expansion higher. You know, we're not too far away from that, folks. We're only 21.16 current range. I think we're probably going to dip back in here, right about where this blue line is. Wherever the high on last Thursday's candle was, I'd like to see them trade back down to that if we can, get a bounce, and then shoot up for the 12200 mark. So that's my target. More than likely, we're probably going to see some higher expansion on this price, excuse me, on EurUsd, and probably up to 122, mid 122s. So I've got this in here at 122.40. Probably going to go a little bit higher than that. So watch that level for a range expansion on the week. GbpUsd, I'm on an hourly here. Let me switch to a daily. This thing has been a monster, just going non-stop higher. Don't get in the way of this thing. Do not start selling short and thinking it's going to ride out for the long term. Anytime they have come down and hit it short, they've ran it even higher just as quickly. So just be very, very careful. Again, look at last Thursday's high here. I'd like to see them trade back down to that. So the high last Thursday came in at 139.85. I'd like to see them trade down to that. We're, about 30, 40 pips away from that. So I'd like to see them trade down, slam into that, and not want to go any lower. If we start trading back into this range, so whatever the Wednesday's candle from last week is, the high there, if they start trading into that, I'm not interested in any long-term, bullish outlook for GBP yet. They'll probably want to come and maybe possibly sweep underneath here. I don't think this is an option, though. They came down, rebalanced in there, and ran away very, very quickly. So more than likely, they're going to keep it above this area in price here. Watch Thursday's high here. I'd like to see it run back down into it and a bounce and then a continuation higher. If you actually go out to the monthly, we checked this area off that I had. This was my target for last week, so that area is done there, so we can get rid of this line. That one's done, and now we're looking at 141.85. More than likely about 14200, I think, is going to be the target for the week. So again, if we can get a bounce back down into last Thursday's high, that should give us a good couple hundred pips range expansion on GbpUsd for the week. So look for that. Moving along to Australian dollar. Again, same thing. Had a very nice, strong finish to the week after a very, very sideways trading. And I really wanted these lows right here. I had this marked out. I wanted this to get violated and to trade back down into this consolidation range in here. Unfortunately, we didn't get that. Had a big range expansion on Friday. Nice to see it's finally picking a direction because it has been in a very long-term extended consolidation range. So great to see them move in price. I'd like to see them rebalance back into either the highs back in here at 78.20s, or even, again, just going back in. More than likely, this high rate here would probably be sensitive if they decided to come back down into that. So whatever that is on your chart right in there, just watch that level right there, and I'll give you it on whatever it is on mine here. It's 0.7805, so about 7,800 level. We're currently 78.75. Price has to run down about 75 pips. I think it can easily do that Monday, Tuesday's trading. Hopefully create a low and then see an expansion higher. And, going long term, this is the area of expansion that I'd like to see them get up to. Do they do it this week? I don't know, but hopefully in the next week or two for sure. 81.40s, more than likely up to even 82s as a high. And then finally start working back up into this range in here is ultimately where I'd like to see Aussie go. So we're seeing some nice expansion now. I want to capitalize on that. Hopefully you guys can get a good entry this week on that one. But wait for the pullback and then look for it to get in on some longs. My line in the sand, I don't want to see them come back down into this range in here. So if you see that, cancel any trades that you may potentially have, as they could dip back down and potentially come back into this consolidation area in here. That I was talking about last week, but I don't think this is very likely. I think more than likely they're going to stay above this area here after we saw this range expansion higher. UsCad, we actually started out the gate. So we had a nice sell-off last week that several of our members got into. Hopefully, on this public video that I did last week, you guys got in on some of that as well, because that was my exact call. I actually had a bit of a higher range target that I was calling last week. We had a very nice sell-off last Thursday that it got down into, and nonetheless, it was the same results, lower prices. So hopefully you guys got some of that. Now this week here, again, last week we saw Thursday, Friday sell-off very, very quickly. And then we took out this old low here. So this is very significant here. And this is kind of why I'm really thinking that we're going to see a nice little pullback going into early part of this week. We took out that low here. Typically what's going to happen is if they want to save that low, they'll shoot it higher first and then roll over. So this means here now that they're more than likely going to take it back up into here. They've ran these areas here. My line in the sand, I don't want to see them go any higher than this consolidation range in there. As long as they stay below that, price should come up into here and then shoot lower. Ultimate target, long term, we got to go way back down here at these lows right here. So I'll drop a line on the chart there, and that's the weekly, what I'm calling this week, 125.80. Probably going to expand down, 20, 40 pips lower than that. So, 125.40 on the week, I think could be a very, very easy target. And we'll see if we get that nice retracement back up into this area in here. So the low in my chart actually comes in on this candle at 126.65. So, you know, again, that nice run down into here, that could be a nice 150, 160 pips or so to the downside. So I'll be watching for that. So that's it for Forex. Very, very quickly, crude oil, nice expansion in through February. Crude oil, again, very, very bullish this time of year. I think there's still lots more to go. Ultimately, my target on crude oil is $67 on crude oil. We're currently 59, so I think this easily can expand up into here. Be very careful, though. Just so you guys know, OPEC meetings is getting together early part of next month. So I think if they're going to drive this thing higher, they're going to do it probably this week and into next week as well, too. So you guys can go and jump online and find out when those OPEC meetings are happening. Typically what happens, so the Saudis come in the fall, they reduce production, which drives prices up, and then in the spring, they increase production, which has the exact opposite effect. So if you're going to do crude oil, you better do it sooner rather than later. I think this is where we're going to go. Now, going into how we've traded in here, I wanted to see a rebalance back into this area in here. Same area in here going into January. We just didn't get any of that. So more than likely what's going to happen is we saw a rebalance here from last Friday. We've opened up pretty strong thus far on the week. I think it's probably just going to keep continuing. And as long as we stay above this area rate in here, more than likely they're just going to keep running this thing right up to that 66, 67 mark. So watch for that on crude oil, okay? And then going into gold, finally, look at this. Major historical low taken out from late 2020. What was the exact date on that? That was November the 30th, 2020. We hadn't hit that area since all the way back here in early mid part of June 2020. So very nice to see that they ran that area. Yeah, 2020. I think that's going to be the low. They just tagged that low. I think this thing's going to start running higher, and the dollar has to be dropping, though. So just keep that in mind. They could easily consolidate. They could even come down and make another low. What you're looking for on gold is as US dollar breaks and we get through here, that's going to be the signal on gold to get long. So watch US dollar. This is a good sign here. I like how they came down, took that out, and so far are not showing a willingness to continue lower. Watch this area in here. I think there could be some very good upside to gold, and first target on gold is, well, right up here, basically, above those highs. And then from there, it's above these highs here, and so on and so on. So I like to see that. Silver, alternatively, though, you can see the strength in silver here. Just no willingness whatsoever to come down. We had the odd sell-off in here and in here and in here, and a failure to go lower here. And, you know, just very, very bullish on silver currently. We may not get another chance to enter into here. So just watch for this. And, again, watch for that break in US dollar. If we break lower on US dollar, I think that's going to give the green light to all of these pairs. Now, watch this, though. We did have a gap to start the week here. They're going to do a gap fill before they run this up. So watch them come back down to that level. And you know, as long as we stay, I think, above here, so above mid-26s on silver, I think this is going to be a green light to go higher. So watch for that this week. Okay, guys, that's all I've got. I want to keep it short and sweet. Hopefully you got a little bit out of this. Please give it a like, give it a thumbs up, share this if you got some value out of it. I would really appreciate that. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. And I will be back for another public free market review for next week. You can watch for that, and all my members. I will catch you guys in the chat room tomorrow. It's going to be a busy, busy week, so I hope you guys are ready. Until then.